Good afternoon, good day if you're listening remotely. I'm Ezio Armando. I work for Accenture. I'm the global architecture lead at Accenture. And I got this job about 1 year ago. One of the first things I asked myself is, do architects still have a job? Because I was given the mandate to run our architecture practice at a time where a lot of the market players, a lot of my colleagues were thinking, technology is so advanced that we don't really need technology architects anymore. So my next half an hour chat will be what is my answer to my colleagues and to the market about that. So that's me. You can contact me via LinkedIn. You can also find me on Twitter and the usual places online. Do we still need architects in 2022? And this slide is the problem space we're talking about, or the opportunity. Now, to put it in context, one of my first jobs at Accenture, or to be fair, Anderson Consulting at the time, slightly more than 20 years ago, was for a utility company in the UK. They had a brilliant idea, and remember, this is 1999, so it's not even this century. They had a brilliant idea that they had crews that go fix water problems around London. Yeah, there was a leak, water isn't coming, and I need to install a counter. And their business problem and business process at the time was somebody calls via phone, there was a dispatch crew, they write notes on pieces of paper, all the crews show up at their headquarters 5 a.m. in the morning or 6 a.m., pick up a whole bunch of paper that tells them what to do during the day. Then they run around London, they do stuff, fix things, write reports on paper, and bring them back in at the end of the day. As you can imagine, there's a bit of challenge in there, because if there's a major leak somewhere, they cannot fix it immediately, or they have to call a crew, they have to figure out what they are, and not very responsive. So we came there and built for them a custom solution, which included hardened tablets. Yes, there were tablets to give to these crews, integrated with their backend mainframe, and we built them a solution to solve the problem and to dispatch them in near real time to where the problems are. So they didn't have to come every morning at 5 a.m. to pick a whole bunch of paper, and they didn't have to go back to work at the headquarters at the end of the day with the reports. Now, there's a very large team of colleagues working on it, and most of them were working on this new cool custom application written in Java, SDK 1.1 something, completely custom build, running on this Windows 95 device, which wasn't exactly reliable, didn't have a lot of memory. But anyway, this very nice, cool application, drag and drop dealer. Now, problem, how do we get data into that? Remember, the 98, 99, we had mobile phones, yes we did. We did not have TCP/IP over mobile phones. So data packets, what do we do? Well, it turns out that around London there was a startup company who had put up a lot of antennas and was sending data packets around. Yeah, give you an API in C, very badly written and unstable, but never mind. Give you a custom device antenna to plug in your tablet. And, you can send data packets back and forth. Slight challenge, sending data packets with no guaranteed delivery and no message order guarantee. So, send from A to B, a few hundreds of bytes, and they may arrive A, and they may or may not arrive before whatever other packet you've sent to that node. So, while all of my colleagues on the team were busy drawing the application, look and feel, and so on, they called me and said, well, we have this slight problem to solve. Put a class around this API and get us in order messaging over this out of order, no guaranteed delivery application. And that was my first real complex, fun job for the firm. Doing all of that, figuring out how to do it, figuring out how to integrate a the weird API library with Windows 95 and with Java, how to guarantee message ordering, how to do guaranteed delivery, all of that created. Me and my team did that, so fun. You know what you do when you're doing good, you get more problems to solve, not less. But the next problem that they gave me was, cool super application runs well until it freezes for 5 minutes and nothing happens. Problem there was, well, garbage collection. A lot of Java classes and JDK 116, 117, 118 was not really good at doing background garbage collection. So again, they called the techie, the architect, that was me, and to do something about it. Now, to do something about it, it involved disabling the automatic garbage collection in Java. Yep. Writing a custom garbage collection script, all sorts of other things behind the scenes that nobody at the end noticed except that the application wasn't freezing anymore. Now, that was 98. At that time, we had a lot of very deep technical problems to invent and create and solve. Now we have that. That meaning platforms that really do all for you. They position themselves as you have a place where you can go and provision a system, virtual machine, container, a full-blown application in a matter of minutes, and you don't have any deep technology choices to do for you because they're all done for you. Ah, that sounds great. Now, those of you that were here before listening to Dominic talk, he was discussing about the concept of you marry a cloud, you marry a provider of technology, and then you have to live with the relationship for a while. All of these would like you to be monogamous and say, oh, stick with Azure and we'll solve all your problems, don't move to the others. They go as far as enticing you and paying you to join their cloud and migrate your application so that they can make money out of you later. Again, interesting, but most enterprises are not really monogamous from this point of view because, hey, everybody's using Office. And these days means everybody's using Office on the cloud. So, yep, you're stuck with Microsoft something. And then half of the world is using Salesforce for the CRM or something else. And so, yep, you have another cloud. And then it's very hard not to have an Amazon something or something else. So ultimately, everybody's multi-cloud. Well, okay, fine. A bit of a complication in there, but the idea that everybody's talking about in the industry is you basically pick a cloud, open a door, pick one of the doors, one of the major cloud providers, open it, and after it, you'll be in paradise. All the deep technology problems are solved for you. Just write your business logic, or even better, use one of ours, and go about to your business. You don't really need technology architects unless they're employed for us being the amigos or the mags, depending on how you call them, that's Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and so on. Interesting, but actually, problems happen. When you open some of those doors, you don't actually find paradise, you find something else. Now, what do you find? You find that if you follow the best practices, well, you pick a cloud platform. Let's pick Amazon. Then you pick, everybody wants to do Agile these days, shouldn't we? Oh, yep, Agile development. And of course, there's this cool concept of full stack engineers that know how to do everything. So put a whole bunch of super smart full stack engineers, give them a cloud platform, make them work in an Agile way, and magic happens. Your business problems will be solved. Well, sometimes that is actually the case. Again, magic happens has a bit of a problem, is I do not believe in magic. Now, probably most of you in this room don't believe in magic either. And so, scratching under the surface, magic doesn't always happen. And in fact, when you open one of those doors that I showed before, sometimes you don't end up in paradise, but you end up in a place that has a lot of fire. Now, I don't necessarily believe in hell either, but I do believe in fire, and I do believe in the fact that we, as senior technologists working for Accenture, for all of our competitors for that matter, we spend an inordinate amount of time fixing things that are broken, or cleaning up the brown things that typically hits the fan that I shall not mention because we're in a polite context. It happens all the time now, less than it used to be, but still things don't go well. Projects overrun. Requirements are not met. Expectations are not met. Business cases are not met. The number of programs, of projects in the IT world that do not realize the original objectives is astoundingly high. It's more than 50%. And it's not, not talking about Accenture projects, I'm talking about projects in the industry. More than half of the initiatives out there don't realize the benefits. Even if I'm taking the best cloud out there by whatever definition of best, even if I'm picking the best engineers, even if I'm being agile. And still, that happens. We still have fires to put out and benefits not realized. Well, the problem is that people just run and, oh, I have a cool tool, cloud platform, I have smart people, and just start doing things without taking the couple of steps back that we should be taking back all the time and make decisions based on facts and based on a logic line of thinking. This slide here is a copyright 2022 because, hey, it's 2022, but I might as well have put copyright 2012 because that's when the first version of this diagram was drawn by me, by the way. And it's what we call the architecture cube. Never mind the representation, it's a mindset. And it's drawn in 3 dimensions. I plotted in 2, but in reality it's a 4-dimensional one, but let's keep it simple. What this tells you is that when you're doing anything, pretty much in the technology space, where you're building something, integrating something, selecting something, you should not start from the blue side, the physical components, which include all your cloud platforms, include your, oh, should I use Kubernetes? Should I use Oracle? Should I use Salesforce? Should I do whatever techie thing you do? You should start, first of all, from your constraints, your requirements or business needs, which are all around the cube. Then start thinking about which patterns and principles to follow. Yeah. Make, buy. Do I want it in cloud? Do I want it multi-layered? Etc. Then I need to figure out what I want it to do. So the capabilities, not what I do it with, but what it should be doing. Does it need to be giving a nice 3D view on a mobile phone? Does it need to be highly available? Does it need to be automatically deployable? Does it need to scale to whatever number of concurrent users? All of those are capabilities. They are not technologies. It's what it should be doing from a functional and technical way. Only when you know what it should be doing, and it's not just requirements, it's actually which capability you need behind the requirements to make the requirements happen, then you can start figuring out which technology components you should make or buy. That decision process, it's not given you by any of the cloud providers out. That decision process is where we need to put our thinking brain, our thinking hat on, and start taking decisions. And having an honest business and technology discussion about what problem are we trying to solve, which technology and business capabilities do we need, and when, and prioritize them, and have that. And then pick technology components, which data, which tools, and only then you can start building. Now, this is what technology architects do. This thinking. Forget all about the detailed coding. That's important, but it's not interesting. This decision process is what technology architects should be doing day in and day out. This is where we earn our salary. Now, preventing those fires, preventing that brown thing hitting the fan because people have run at building or using components before thinking about capabilities or patterns or principles or requirements is exactly what technology architects do. So yes, we need technology architects. I get that. I think we've established it. But remember, the question wasn't, do we need technology architects? Do we need architects? And I'm taking one step up in the logical abstraction level. And it's absolutely essential today because guess what? Technology is business, and business is technology. Accenture has been talking about the relationship between business and technology for almost 10 years, and we very loudly stated in the early 2010s that every business is a technology business, meaning that technology is so quintessentially intrinsic, attached, fundamental for every single business out there that without technology, business doesn't work anymore. Banks are technology companies. Financial institutions are technology companies. Telcos are obviously technology companies, but even companies that utilities without technology don't work. Literally, they don't work. Anything that has to do with retail is a technology company. Without internet sales and supply chain management, it doesn't work. So every business is a technology business, which means that technology is a C-level, and I mean CEO level topic today, and has been for 10 years. And if you're working for a company that doesn't think that technology is a board level problem or a CEO level problem, then you're working for a company that will run out of business very soon, believe me. So good. Technology is business, business is technology, which means that architects need to think at the business level too. We cannot just think at the technology component level because we're missing the point. We're solving technology problems. We're not solving business problems, which is what we should be doing. And I'll pick an example. Everybody has been talking about cloud migrations and journey to the cloud and success in the cloud for the last probably 10 years. Now, we have a framework in Accenture that we call Magi, migrate, accelerate, grow, and innovate. Pick whatever model you want, but the point is really, what are you selling to and to whom and how, and what value are you bringing to the client? So, in a migrate mindset, I'm taking a workload, virtual machines, databases, whatever, and instead of running them in a data center, I lift and shift them, and I put them on virtual machines, basically, running somewhere in the cloud. Yep, there's value in that, probably. I don't need a data center anymore. Yep, interesting. Now, that is a pure IT supplier discussion with the CTO, possibly with the CIO type of discussion. From an end-to-end business value and transformation value, the business value of that is zero. It's a cost reduction, it's an efficiency reduction. All of that is interesting. Your CIO, CTO will be happy. They don't need to run those data centers. You can sell them. You can even give them to your Google, Amazon, or Azure partner. If you're big enough, they will actually buy your data center from you. Interesting. But ultimately, no new products, no new businesses, no faster time to market. You're just moving your server somewhere else. So that's migrate. There's still value. We made tons of money as an industry in that space. Now, most of the work that has or was meant to move to the cloud has already moved in that way. So let's think about what else can we do. And then we are in the accelerate state. Now, accelerate is we already are using cloud technology. Let's start to do some technology transformation, do things differently. Optimized environments, maybe automate things, automatic provision, new dynamic environments, build a new software in a cloud-native way. Yep, cool. Things I couldn't do before. There's value in there, but it's still not a CEO-level discussion. When it really gets interesting is, let's use all of these new capabilities given us by our cloud partner friends to make something completely new from a business point of view. Launch a new product. I'm a bank. I want to launch internet banking. Completely new product that I didn't have before. Well, hopefully you did, but maybe not. Or I want to enter in a new market. I want to experiment a new product line. I want to do something that wasn't possible before. I want to enter into the metaverse. That's grow, innovate space, and those are business discussions. Even technology is essential because you can do it because the technology enables you to do it. But what you do and what you sell and what you tell to our joint clients is not, oh, I'm giving you APIs or I'm giving you Lambda functions. That's irrelevant at that level. What I'm giving you is the ability to launch a new product in a new market, a new service that you cannot do, and you can do it because of the technology out there. And me, technology person, understands what you can do, what the technology can give you, but I also understand your business, and we have to talk together to realize a new business. That's what enterprise technology architects do. That's the job of an enterprise technology architect. That is the job that is not just technology, it needs to talk business, because it's about changing how companies do business, how companies work. That is extremely high value, highly rewarding, extremely fun work, and not many people are able to do it. We have still a lot of fantastic technologists that don't think business. And that is missing an opportunity, because the biggest opportunities are business opportunity. So we need enterprise technology architects, because we need people to have those discussions there. Now, good, fine. Now, we established we need technology architects because we need to make decisions in technology, and we need enterprise technology architects because we need to have the business discussions on where to apply and where to deploy technology. But hold on a minute, we said what they need to do, but given that we still need architects, what should exactly they do? What should they focus on? How do they achieve those objectives? Well, let me start by saying what they should not be doing. This one is your mythical ivory tower. Architects should not sit in ivory towers. And this is especially applicable to the whole set of people who style themselves as enterprise architects, whose job I call them as enterprise archaeologists, as in they document things and say, oh, we have 1,700 CRM systems, and they write it down on a piece of paper that we have all of that. Oh, how interesting. That, again, has no business value whatsoever. That's archaeology, that's not architecture. It's not about deciding the future. Architects are about taking decisions. So they shouldn't sit in a corner thinking about all the fantastic things that have been done or could be done. They should be talking with the business people and with their colleagues about what we're doing today, tomorrow, and next year, because in 5 years, everything has changed. So they have to be active in the crowd, in the business, and do things, not sitting in an ivory tower. On the other hand, they should know technology. Yes, technology is business. Yes, we need to talk business. Yes, we need to operate at that level. Yes, we need to think about capabilities, not just components, but we do need to understand our toolbox. We do need to understand what can be done today, what is possible today, what is not possible, and what will likely be possible in 1 year, 2 years, and 5 years, so that we can have those strategic discussions. So we can go to the CEO and confidently tell them, yes, I can set up today a call center that solves using artificial intelligence, using chatbots that can stop 90% of your human interactions and replace them with AI interactions, so you can free up the capacity of 9 out of 10 of your call center people to do something else more interesting for them and more high value for your company. To have that discussion, dear CEO, I can reduce your call center workload by a factor of 10. I need to be sure that the technology does it today, or at least can be confidently be done in 6 months or going live. If I have to have the discussion with the client, let's start a new business completely in the cloud, I need to be sure I can make it happen. So I need to know what the technology does. Having the other discussion is essential, but it's also essential to know about what can be done, about the tools, about who's the expert. You don't need necessarily to be the expert in every single thing. Yeah, I will find a Kubernetes expert that knows how to set it up, but I very much need to know what I can do with Kubernetes. I need to know what I can do with Lambda functions. I need to know what I cannot do with Lambda functions. That is the job of an architect, knowing what you can do and calling a friend who's the deep expert in anything. But again, the job is not about being the technology expert, but you do need to know what the technology can do for you. And you need to keep listening and learning and studying the market, because the day you stop, it's too late. But ultimately, the job of architects is balancing decisions and taking decisions. There is no best solution out there. And I'm Italian. I like cars. Now, fast question. Is a Ferrari Formula One car better or worse than a Panda? Anybody? Nobody wants to answer this one. That's good. And the answer is, it depends. It's more sophisticated, it's cooler, it's faster. But can I go shopping with a Formula One car? No, I cannot. So if I need to go shopping, a Panda is a better car. I'm sorry. First of all, I can buy one, second-hand one for a few €1,000. I cannot easily buy a Formula One car. And then it has a trunk. It doesn't use a ridiculous amount of petrol or tires, for that matter. And by the way, I know how to drive it. So if I need to go shopping, Panda is the right choice. It's not a Formula One car that I need. On the other hand, if I want to try to win once and for all a Formula One Grand Prix or season, well, Panda is not very useful. And the same discussions apply all the time. There is no best technology out there. All of the discussions about best practices, absolute best, maturity model, all of that is theoretical discussion. In practices, what problem, what opportunity do I want to seize, and what is the best combination of tools to achieve that opportunity? And there is no right answer. There is no best answer. There is a good enough answer and a viable answer, and there is a ton of wrong answers. And again, the job of the architect is taking those decisions. Dominic before me was talking about the lock-in problem or challenge. Everybody's worried about lock-in. Well, it depends. Do I have an alternative? I can make decisions. I decide, yes, I'll lock in with some technology because it's faster. It saves me a lot of time, and that's okay. That's a valid decision to take if it's a conscious decision. I'll save the money to do something else and maybe put it in a contingency fund. Is in some cases the best way to solve a business problem right? An Excel spreadsheet? Yes, it is. Excel spreadsheets are perfect solutions for tons of projects, even if they don't run in the cloud, even if they don't have Lambda functions, even if they don't have containers. Architects, good architects, make balanced decisions based on requirements and needs. They don't apply all the latest and greatest just because it's fun, although it is fun. The real fun thing is to do the right thing at the right time efficiently. That is the job of an architect. A different way of saying the same story is think about how people dress themselves. Keynote earlier this morning was talking about the people that go shopping in Milan, and like everybody in the audience has different attires. Well, when you go shopping for an outfit, or when you dress up in the morning, you put things that fit together, that make sense together. Now, would anybody here go jogging with a suit, a tuxedo, and a tie? No, nobody would go shopping with a tuxedo for the same reason that nobody would go shopping in a Formula One car. You have to make coherent, conscious decisions on what you put on. If I'm putting running shoes, I probably want jeans or shorts, because that's a combination that makes sense, even if it's cheaper than the Dior dress that I might be wearing for the evening. But different occasions, different needs, different combinations, and you have to take decisions. And taking decisions based on technology opportunities, based on business opportunity, business needs, is what technology architects do. Now, that will never go away. The need to take decisions based on the context is what makes an architect. It's not knowing the technology, although you need that. It's not knowing the business, although you need that. But the ultimate job of architects is selecting which components to solve a problem, to implement which capabilities, and to have all of those discussions and coordinate everything around you. That is what architects do. That job hasn't changed in 20 years and hasn't changed in 40 years. That is why it's so hard to find in the market good technology architect, why talent in this space is so hard, because we need to know all the bases. We need to know the toolbox. We need to know the business, but we need to take decisions. And it's a decision-making process and explaining it and bringing everybody with you that makes the job. So yes, we still need technology architects, and they are the people who take decisions. And there is no right answer for everything. There's valid answers, different answers for different problems. Remember, I will not go shopping in a Formula One car. Now, I have time for some questions and possibly some answers. Now, of course, I have to walk around and go see what you've been writing there. So, Anonymous 1, 2, and 3. Anonymous number 1. Do architects also make decisions or just support business and decision making? Yes. They make decisions. But the really smart architects are the ones that make the decisions together with the business. Remember, business is technology, which means that architects have to be part of the business, have to be seen as business relevant. So you have to be part of the team that takes the decisions. And yes, of course, you support decision making. You provide opportunities. You show options. You need to do all of that. But to be really relevant, you have to find yourself a place at the table where the decisions are made. Consulted is good. Being part of it is better. It will not always happen. But that's the intent. If we really believe, and we do, that business is technology and technology is business, you need people who make decisions, informed decisions out there, and architects are the ones to do that. How is it possible to stay up to date on all technology? It's impossible. Easy answer. Not very helpful. And here, again, it's decision-making to be applied. What is important for your work? What do you find interesting? Keep reading the headlines. Always read the headlines. Always know what's coming. Now, do I know personally what's in the last version of SAP HANA? I don't. I read the headlines. I do have a very good friend who I will call if I need to know what's in there. But do I want to know if Oracle is launching a competitor to SAP HANA? Oh yes, I would like to know that. And if they ever launch that for real, I want to go look what's in there. Do I want to know that Oracle is officially multi-cloud and they are launching their multi-cloud strategy? Yes, I want to know. I also don't mind knowing it that they're still not supporting running Oracle, although they're happy to get the licenses. I'm picking on Oracle, but I can pick on every single company out there. Yeah, it's what they say and what they do, and there's sometimes a bit of a gap between there. Most important skills, non-technical for a good architect. Communication. Architects need to make decisions and support decisions. If you're not able to explain what and why, you might be the smartest person of the world, but you will be irrelevant. So communication skills, explaining in simple terms what are not simple decisions. That is extremely hard. Communication is one. The other is networking and teamworking and collaboration. How many of you work on a team? Almost everybody works in a team, and technology is teamwork. There's no single person that. So communication, one, collaboration is number two. And then I argue interest and desire to learn more, curiosity. It's not a 9-to-5 job if you want to keep up to date. It's not a 9-to-5 job if you want to be relevant. You need to have passion. Passion is important. Architects are responsible for decisions. Shouldn't they have the right to veto against brown thing decisions coming to other levels? So, vetoes are a difficult word because, again, it's decisions. A good architect is able to explain why something generates a brown flying material. If you explain it correctly, people will not do that. If you're involved in the right discussion, it will happen. Now, it doesn't always happen, of course, but we cannot expect to have complete veto power. We need to be strong influence and part of the decision process. Theoretically, yes, but again, nobody's perfect. Knowing you're not perfect is part of being a good architect, by the way. So sometimes what I think is a bad decision, somebody else will think is a good decision, and we have different valid points, and then we'll debate them and discuss them, and somebody else will make a decision. So I'm not for dictators. Do we have enough architects? No, we need more. We have a lot of people who call themselves architects, but who are really deep subject matter experts in A, B, C, D, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, blah, blah, aleph, etc. Interesting, but those are not the real architects who take decisions. People who can actually take decisions, especially at the enterprise level, and understand technology opportunities, technology landscapes, and business opportunities and landscape, there are very, very few out there. And they don't grow on trees. They don't directly come out of university most of the time. They need to be trained, they need to be developed, they need to be part of a team that does it, and it's a difficult skill to acquire. So, no, we don't have enough. To which extent shall architects decide for new cool technologies making the work more attractive for software engineers? Yes. Quite a lot. Cool, nice is attractive. And there is a space for all of that. There is a space for experimenting, for innovation. Absolutely there is. But there is even a bigger space for taking the right tool for the right problem at the right time and focusing the new shiny technologies on where you really need them, not on where you can use them because why not? You know, when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail, and when you have a nail, everything looks like a hammer. If you have a shiny new hammer, yes, I can apply my shiny new hammer to everything. I can build a calculator using lambda functions. I can do that, sure, why not? I can do it in 10 minutes probably. But why, if I can use a physical calculator on my mobile phone to do it? Use that to do something more interesting. Find a fun, interesting business problem to apply your fun business, new shiny technology to it. I'm not saying don't do it. Use it for the right things. Use it for the things that cannot be done otherwise, not for the things that can be done with traditional technology. Nobody's reinventing light bulbs. Well, okay, we had LED light bulbs sort of reinvented about 10 years ago, but ultimately, you know, commodity. Let the commodity be used for commodity work. Fine, nothing against that, but think about innovation, think about new opportunities. Apply new technologies to new opportunities, which is either optimizing old stuff and doing it completely differently, or doing completely new things that cannot be done otherwise. And what are new components, functionality, and skills that, with the move to the cloud, an architect should be savvy in compared to old on-premise world? Oh boy, that's a big question. Everything is the short answer, and nothing. So, the fundamental job of being an architect, decision-making, knowing the technology, knowing the business has not changed. The tools that keep changing all the time. The competitive landscape from the IT companies and the business that we work for change all the time. Keep up to date on what's happening around you. Be open. Think about the implications. I have my favorite story that I used to tell a few years ago, and this is the last question I'm going to take, but it takes a bit of time to talk about it. And my favorite example of technology implications was when we started having self-driving cars, or talking about self-driving cars, think about the implications for the automotive industry at large, the real implications. It's not that I'm selling for $10,000 the autopilot option on a Tesla, which, okay, why not? The real implications for real self-driving cars is that people in 20 years, if they really exist, self-driving cars, in 20 years, nobody will buy a car anymore. You'll have car as a service. Why should I own a car that I use for at most 2 hours a day, probably less? It's a completely wasted technology. If I could have the same car on call, on a tablet, their car show up at my door, completely refuels and be there and take me wherever I want, and I wouldn't even be using the same car. I have a BMW as my personal car, but it's a compromise because I can do multiple things with it. But if I want to go on vacation, I probably want a bigger station wagon or a crossover of some sort. If I just want to go a nice drive in the mountains behind home, I probably want a more fun car. If I have a car as a service capability, and that doesn't mean Uber, by the way, not with a driver, that's not efficient enough, that's too expensive to run, the business case is not there. But with really self-driving cars that show up at your door, people will not be buying cars anymore, or very few people will be actually owning a car. That's a complete transformation in the industry. Further implications. Petrol stations. They will end up all in the periphery, in the outskirts of the cities, where it's cheaper because anyway, just the cars alone will show up there to refuel themselves. As long as the cars can, in the middle of the night, can go refuel themselves. Why do they need to be easily accessible? And I can go on and on about possible implications. They're all predicated on the fact that we'll actually have fully self-driving cars, which the more we look at it, the less likely it seems in the short-term future. So we had a bit of over-enthusiastic dream there, but that kind of thinking is what makes good architects, especially strategic architects, to think about the future. If I have this, what can I do with it, and what does it mean for the business today, next week, next month, and in 5 years? So, new technology, faster, higher density batteries. What can I do with better batteries? Yes, I can make lighter mobile phones that last longer. Well, that's interesting, that's incremental, but is there anything completely transformative that I can do with it that I could not do before? Can I make perhaps an electric plane, electric passenger plane? I don't know. Just making it up. But that is the forward-thinking innovation mindset that good architects should have. And that was my last question. I'm probably 2 minutes over time. But big thank you to the audience, both many of you here and the ones that are listening to me virtually. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy lunch.